Welcome to We Like D&D, the show where we talk about one of our favorite hobbies, D&D and TTRPGs in variety show style segments. I'm Kelly from the YouTube channel Power Word Spill, and I'm also joined by one of my best friends and D inspirations, Alec.
I'm not a 2-foot tall bunny, I'm a 6-foot tall man. What up, everybody?
Wow, brag. Would you like to roll to convince me that you're actually 6 feet tall?
Well, if I roll low, it'll not make any sense because I'm actually 6'1", but I was trying not to rub it in. It's a 5 out of 20. I'm actually 5'11".
Yeah. Actually, you rolled how many feet you are. You're 5 feet tall.
I'm 5 feet
I knew
tall,
it.
yeah.
I thought I was pretty sure that I was taller than you.
It's all perspective.
I've shrunk down to 5 feet tall, but I did keep the same size booty.
Oh wow, nice. That's awesome.
Wow, that was fortunate.
I'm also joined by my long-term roommate / wife, Loren.
Hi, I'm 5'4".
Loren, would you like to roll for how tall you actually are in real life?
It's a 3. I'm 3 feet tall.
Oh, 3 feet tall. Yeah, that does.
You still have the same size booty though.
Yeah, true. If I had rolled a 20, would I be 20 feet tall? Or I would just be my actual height?
No, you're 20 feet tall.
Well, that's too much.
I mean,
with the same
it's
size
a lot,
booty, it would not be proportional.
It would be nothing. We'd be able to see anything. Oh, I also rolled a 3. I'm also 3 feet tall. We're the same height. We're just a couple little guys.
A better love story than Twilight.
How dare
Alec
you?
towers over us at 5 feet tall.
Whoa, hot.
Yeah, unlike in real life.
Yeah, in real life, I'm actually taller than Alec.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually reversed. Loren's the tallest, I'm second, and Alec's the shortest.
So not the opposite for you. You just are in the middle constantly, which is your dream, maybe.
Maybe. I'll never tell. All right. I hope your ears at home are ready for an absolute gushing, because I'm going to be just gushing over Nimble. I really enjoyed it.
Sorry, Kelly, could you work the word gushing into another sentence, please?
This is going to be a real gusher of an episode, because I'm about to be gushing all over Nimble about how much I loved it.
I'm gonna stay dry, but I also really enjoyed Nimble.
So let's get into it. Last week we played Nimble. I mean, last week for you guys, but for us, we literally just finished playing. These impressions could not be firster. These impressions could not be fresher. It couldn't be firster. They couldn't be fresher. They're just absolutely still dripping wet. That's how fresh they are.
Hot off the presses.
I think someone else needs to take over.
Yeah. Kelly's too moist.
So a damp little boy.
Yeah. A damn 3 feet tall. It's Kelly from the YouTube channel Power Word Spill.
3 feet tall and dripping wet. It's Kelly from the YouTube channel Power Word Spill. And he has spilled everywhere.
He's been gushing.
The way I came into this world. Dripping wet and 3 feet tall.
Your mom's water broke and you just gushed on out.
Well, that sounds easy for her.
Giant baby, 3 feet tall.
Anyway, Nimble.
Anyways, Nimble, TTRPGs. Let's start on the player side of the table. What did you guys think about the player experience, starting with making characters? How was that?
For me, character creation was like really, really easy in a good way. Mm-hmm. But I think in part, and this is part of my kind of overall impressions of the game, it's like you're so benefiting from playing 5th edition of Dungeons and Dragons.
Totally.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's so little translation to do that it was like, what's a simpler way I could make a 5e character?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. I think, this has been said before for sure, especially by Bob. Hey, Bob, maybe you'll come here for the Nimble experience too. Bob World Builder played Nimble and has made a couple Nimble videos, and he said that it's the closest system that he's found to his homebrewed version of 5e, like the homebrew version of 5e that he would make. And I definitely, it feels very much like that. It feels like someone played 5e and was like, how can we just make this way faster and easier, but not remove any of the kind of tactical grit of it. So yeah.
And that is like praise of the system from my perspective, to be
Absolutely.
clear, because
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, there's been a bit of like a D&D hangover, I feel like, in the community a little bit, where it's like, what can we do that's new, different? Like, how can we respond to 5th edition, Dagger Heart, Draw Steel?
Yeah.
Like, how can we respond and fix it?
Yeah.
But to say that it's like really close to 5e and just feels a little bit cleaner, like that's huge praise from my perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was by far the easiest TTRPG to pick up. Like, learning new TTRPGs is a daunting task for sure for your table, and especially if you are entrenched in 5e or in your system. You know, most people who don't have a TTRPG podcast aren't going to want to be playing a new system every 2 months. It's just a lot of work, but truly this was so easy to pick up. The book is even small and there are not many pages. It's just like the whole thing about it is unintimidating. So walking through the character creation process, we had a little session 0, and these guys built characters while we were chatting, and the whole thing took less than an hour for you guys for sure, and we were moving at a really slow pace. I mean, I feel like you could, if you wanted to make a first level character in this system, it would take less than 10 minutes. I mean, if you just zipped through it.
To be clear, the amount of time it took us to create characters from start of creating characters to end of creating characters was less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We were like, let's check out some videos on Nimble character creation, and like that's what took an hour.
For sure. And then we also did we talked about backstory and all that stuff. Yeah, exactly. So the actual process of creating the characters was less than 10 minutes, I think. But there were still lots of options.
The videos were super helpful, though. Like, are they hosted by the creator of Nimble? Is that?
Yeah, that's right. That's Evan, the creator of Nimble, has some videos on the Nimble website. There's 2 videos. There's a getting started video and a character creation video. The getting started video is like 8 minutes long. The character creation video is, I think, 6 minutes long or something. Both really short. He's very good. He's a good explainer.
Yeah, he explains things
unlike
good.
me. He explains things good and speaks good in good ways that I like.
Yeah, no, they were super easy to follow, I feel like, and it also made things feel very unintimidating because he just has like a very soothing like teacher voice, and so he just like puts the little character sheets down and he like explains how everything works and like where everything comes from, and it was just like so nice to listen to.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are lots of options. And one thing is there aren't subclasses, they're just classes, and there's lots of different classes, and which leads to them all having a lot of cool flavor about them because they can be really specific. You guys want to each talk a bit about your classes and why you chose them, and if any others stuck out to you that you were deciding between or just like looked really cool?
Yeah, so I was playing a song weaver, which is, I guess, Nimble's version of a bard, which is like, not to like come out the gate criticizing stuff, but it always like kind of makes me laugh when you're playing a new system and there's like the names for all of the classes are like bard, but a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit more complicated. So like that kind of made me laugh. Like, yeah, a song weaver. I guess it's a bard.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That just kind of made me laugh. But I think it's a fun class. I haven't played a bard for a while in 5e, like a couple years probably. So it was kind of fun to see what was going on here. But I was also really interested in the shepherd.
Oh, cool.
Which I think is a little bit cleric-y.
Okay.
It's like, shepherding people between like life and death.
Oh, cool.
And stuff was the vibe that I got.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the character that I wanted to play for this was a little bit of a shithead, I guess. And that didn't really go with the vibe of a shepherd. So I went Songweaver instead.
Yeah. And with, I wonder if they're, making because in D&D, obviously, bard encompasses a lot of different things. You could be, a sword bard, a dance, a glamour bard, a classical music bard. So I wonder if they're leaving room, instead of just calling it a bard, if they're potentially leaving room to make other bard classes that would overlap. But yeah, it is sometimes funny to see those other names that's like, this is a bard.
Right. Yeah. Or like when they rename like a rogue, and I think in this one it's like
the sneak. Yeah, that's
maybe,
right.
which is like, yeah, it's very similar.
Yeah.
Different font, but yeah.
Yeah, and so with this, obviously you both played spellcasters, and so with building your bard, just building a character, everything's done by array. So you just did your, there's 3 standard arrays that you can choose from. You pick one, you slot them in. You have a key stat or 2 key stats maybe that are for your class. So you get bonuses in those. And then is there anything else you have to pick for your bard? You have to pick spells, or do you pick spells from a spell list, or it's from your specific class?
Yeah. So for mine, I had, you have like a school of magic that's attached to you. And then I forget how I got it because we did this a couple of weeks ago. But I was also able to choose spells from my school, which was like the school of wind. I guess that was from being a bard. And then I got to choose a different school. So I chose fire.
Cool.
So I could choose cantrips. At level 1, you only get cantrips. I could choose spells from either of those 2 lists.
Awesome. And even making a level 1 character, did you feel like there were some choices?
I think so. I mean, yeah, getting to choose spells for sure. Weapons, I think you could choose weapons as well in the beginning, but there weren't outside of choosing your class, choosing your race. And then I think you get a background as well. And the backgrounds are a little bit different than they are in 5e. I think they just give you like 1 or 2 things. Like they don't give you, mine didn't give me any stat bonuses or anything. It was like, I chose the academy dropout because I had worked on this backstory with Kelly that like maybe my character had worked with like a bard in town or something, and then the bard left, so he didn't get to like finish his schooling. So I chose academy dropout, and that gave me access to what are called utility spells, which are not immediately accessible except for with like certain abilities.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's not having to wade through that for stat bonuses, I guess, makes the process a little bit easier because you're not trying to figure out which background you're kind of, well, no, I mean, there are abilities, so you are still picking it based on which abilities you want, but also what flavor matches your backstory.
I do have to actually for a second, because in looking at all of these classes, they do have some that have subclasses.
I was going to get into it because mine has a subclass option.
So, Alec, what class did you play?
I played the Shadowmancer, which is, I suppose it's Warlock adjacent. The Shadowmancer summons hordes of expendable shadow minions, but it has subclasses. There are classes that you have to make.
There are subclasses. Yeah. Okay.
There's even extra subclasses for certain. It's not a paladin, it's an Oathsworn. There's like the Oathbreaker subclass you can go into.
Yeah.
Commanders can become Spellblades. Shadowmancers can also become Reavers, that sort of thing.
All right. So just completely forget what I said. There's definitely subclasses.
So the Shadowmancer has 2 paths at level 3. One of them is more like shadow magic. So use your cunning to forge pacts with ancient, unfathomable entities, drawing upon their incomprehensible power to crush foes and bend the shadows to your will. Or summon legions of shadowy minions to overwhelm your adversaries and bolster your magical abilities. Let them swarm your foes, serving as both sword and fodder in your quest for dominance.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And you chose spells. Did you also have ability choices at level 1?
I did not choose spells at level 1.
Oh, okay.
So the Shadowmancer they just know all of their spells. At level 1, you only know 1 cantrip. Which is Shadow Blast.
Okay.
And then you can summon a shadow minion. At level 2, you gain all the knowledge of necrotic cantrips and tier 1 spells.
Cool.
There was very little choices to make. In fact, like no choices to make when making a Shadowmancer. It was just like race, background, that sort of thing. Stat allocation.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, it definitely, that I guess is definitely where like the complexity, you can see a lot of difference in complexity versus especially something like Draw Steel, where it felt like at level 1 I might never need to level up. There was so many things to choose from that I could play level 1 forever, but here it's definitely a bit closer to 5e.
Which is crazy because Shadowmancer, one of the reasons I picked it, I was looking between Shadowmancer and Stormshifter. And Stormshifter is it's not a druid, it's a Stormshifter, is what it looks like. But they're both class complexity 3 out of 3.
Okay.
And there was no complexity at first level at all.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure part of that has to do with just the fact of managing spells and mana. You guys do mana? What's the spell casting?
Not at level 1.
Okay, right, because you just had cantrips. Yeah. But so then beyond that, there is a mana resource that you spend. So instead of spell slots, is that how it works?
I think so.
Perhaps,
I guess we'll find out when we level up.
Okay.
Right, Kelly?
Yeah, and so that was your class. There are a ton of ancestries, which I thought was really fun. You guys played two very non-standard ancestries. But obviously, there are all the standard ones: dwarf, elf, halfling, gnome. But you guys played a bun and a rat folk. There were tons of other ones, which I thought was really fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have a lot of really awesome options, and the core rulebook has such cool art. I mean, like with the classes as well. Like the Stormshifter is so cool. The Shepherd was so beautiful. They all look really neat. But yeah, the little picture of the bun is so sweet, so cute.
I think that's just really fun. It's obviously, if you want to play in a certain world, you don't have to use all of these different ancestries. You can talk with your table and do whatever you want, but I think it's really fun to just have all of these super different playable races. I think there's even a playable ooze race. I think
incredible.
You can play
an ooze like
yeah.
That's the race Kelly is playing right now because he's just gushing.
I'm just oozing all over this Nimble, let me tell you.
Oh, God. But there's also a Crystalborn, which I thought was really cool. It's formed from living crystal, which is really fun. There's also a bird folk, which I think is cute. Calling it a bird folk makes it sound like cuter than a kinku.
True.
Or Aarakocra.
Yeah, Aarakocra. Yeah. They're such like aggressive names.
Yeah. And I didn't really look into this much. The ancestries give you just a little something, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get an ability with your ancestry.
It's like one ability.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did each of you get?
That's a good question. Let me find.
Mine was related to movement. So before interposing or after defending, you can move your speed in any direction for free once per encounter.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Mine was also related to movement. It was Scurry. Gain +2 armor if you moved on your last turn.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
And I didn't move a lot, honestly, during combat, which is fine because I forgot that I had that. I have it written down, and I just forgot that I had that.
Yeah, so moving kind of beyond character creation, how was the play experience for you guys? Bad. Met with silence.
I really liked it. I said this in a previous episode. I was not the biggest fan of Draw Steel because I found it very overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And I found that because this was a lot simpler, it was really easy to pick up and it was unintimidating because my character sheet was so small. Like it was so condensed that I didn't feel overwhelmed with like so many options, even though like, I had a fair number of spells as a caster, but I really liked it. I really like the combat system with like action and reactions that you like quote unquote buy with action points. I think that was really cool. Yeah, I really liked it.
You get 3 action points at the end of your turn, and you can spend them anytime. So there are certain actions you can do outside of your turn, and certain actions you can do on your turn, and they carry through. So if you want to do stuff outside of your turn, then you have less action points on your turn, which is kind of a fun way to keep people engaged during the round.
Yeah, we didn't end up using tons of out of turn actions, but it felt possible. Felt like the world was at our fingertips for sure. It was really low lift. the whole experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all struggle playing mapless sometimes, and that kind of makes combat stagnate a little bit. There wasn't as much room or reason for you guys to move around as much because they kind of just attacked you and then dogpiled a little bit. Did you feel that you didn't want to use the out of turn actions because it wasn't optimal, or because you just didn't really have the need to?
For me, the options for out of like heroic reactions didn't really lend themselves to spellcasting a ton. They're just like the defend one.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to interpose at any point, even though I have a bun related power for that.
Yeah.
We just had so few hit points that like if you do something, it's like, well, and you got knocked down like pretty quick by that charging rat. So yeah, it was tough to like want to throw yourself in harm's way when we were all just like, we both had so few hit points.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, very true.
But the option is cool. It's cool to have that as an option.
Yeah. Did it feel like you were more engaged outside of your turn, or not really? Because you already thought, I'm not going to use these, so like I was not like I'm waiting for an opportunity to use it.
Yeah, I didn't feel super compelled to use reactions, to be honest.
Just the defend one, I think, was the only one.
Not to say that I don't like the system of action points and not just having one reaction, but you could actually use all of your actions prior to your turn. I'm a fan of the design. I just think that we both built like casters.
Yeah, cool. Well, is there anything else from the player side that you guys particularly liked, disliked?
I think like I love how low lift it was, but I also I really enjoyed draw steal. So it's not like necessarily a criticism of the game, but like super low floor. I don't know how high the ceiling goes once you get into later levels, but it didn't feel like super high ceiling.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like tactically you would get bored of it?
Yeah, but I also think it's a game where you don't necessarily have to be focusing on combat all the time. And we're very narrative heavy players, right? Can we first impressions on recording an actual play at the same time as first impressions on Nimble?
Yeah, for sure.
That was like one of my worries about recording an actual play of us like playing a game for the first time is like, I don't think it's like great representation of what we're like as players, because like we're very much find the characters and then tell like a character story.
Yeah. I mean, and also like, we're not practiced actual players either. Yeah. We're not voice actors and comedians and stuff. I mean, I'm a comedian, but
no, I feel like it's not necessarily super representative of like if you were to come to our D&D night, like what you would experience in the middle of a campaign.
Yeah.
And so like it was a little bit
there's also
shy
like
about
definitely like, something to be said, role playing in a party as a character 50 sessions deep versus first session, and also there's only two of you as players, so there's more to carry for sure. I mean, both of you have to be big presences to carry that. Like if there's 4 people around the table, then you can kind of sit back at times, but there's only 2 of you, so you're kind of on all the time.
But I don't feel like the rules got in the way of being able to tell a story, but I don't think the rules necessarily lifted up character storytelling that much either, which is pretty true of 5th edition. So
yeah, I think there's not a lot of rule in 5th edition for sure. There's not a lot of mechanics outside of combat. I mean, there's skill checks, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think it's definitely on the rules lighter end for sure, which makes it really easy to pick up and play. Like I mentioned, I would love to play Draw Steal, but I just don't think I have the time to run Draw Steal right now. But at the same time, I love tactically heavy combat as well. And I would love to, go to a session for 3 to 5 hours and just do a heavy tactical combat. So I am a little thinking about that as well. If there would be enough sort of tactical meat here, but at the same time, I also do love low-level D&D, and this kind of feels like it might be low-level D&D all the way through. So even at the higher levels, you would get a little bit more options and some more crunch, but yeah, I don't know. I think we'd have to play it more to really find out.
Okay, let's do it.
Twist my rubber arm, Kelly.
Any other thoughts from your guys' end?
I really liked the number of skills that were available, and like the names of the skills.
Yeah.
Felt like they covered a lot of ground. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And the fact that it only has 4 abilities, and I really didn't miss the other ones. There's 4, right? I think there's 4.
Let me open my character sheet.
Oh yeah, 4 stats, but
Yes.
more like Arcana, Examination, Finesse. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
4
that's what I
stats,
meant.
though.
Yeah.
Also, the one thing in character creation I really enjoyed was the way in which you increased your skills. Mm-hmm. So it was just like, throw these points anywhere.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Just like I don't remember how many we get, like 3 or 4 or something like that. But you get your array, and then that informs all of your skills, and then you just get to add more points.
Toss a couple extra.
Yeah.
Yeah, for character reasons.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that a lot as well. And being, maybe a better comparison is sort of to something more like Shadow Dark, which is also a little bit on the rules lighter spectrum of things. How did you guys feel the character experience versus Shadow Dark?
Like character creation?
All of it, playing, creating, the mechanics, the options that you had.
Well, interestingly, I noticed a difference in the DM because I think in Shadow Dark, you were like, I have to give them the Shadow Dark experience, not like, how would I like to run Shadow Dark? It's like, how is one to run Shadow Dark? Whereas in Nimble, you're like, you went to Kelly's comfort zone of DMing, which is a good place.
Yeah, well, it certainly is like speaks to that floor, because I mean there is zero, virtually zero translation to running this. So it was immediately like the balance was clear. I did just run the starter adventure straight up, and it felt extremely familiar for sure.
And so there is that layer of translation as well in the comparison between the two. Mm-hmm. But I think that they felt like very different games, despite both being on like the rules light end of things.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they definitely are different styles, like OSR versus modern 5e, the rules light.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we'll definitely have to play it more to see, at higher levels what it's like. But from the running side of things, like you mentioned, Alec, it was super easy to jump into, and the monster stat blocks are so tiny. They're like just 2 or 3 lines, and they really took out everything that you didn't need. And I didn't realize how much you didn't need. Like, I don't need full ability scores for every single monster. Like, why do I need,
Right.
Yeah. I don't need the goblin to have a wisdom bonus. Like, if I want to roll a wisdom save for the goblin, I'll just come up with a modifier on the spot. That's fine. So it just strips away all of that, which was I really appreciated.
My character sheet as a spellcaster, although I just had 1 spell, but my character sheet as a spellcaster was 1/3 of a page.
Yeah, so I mean, they definitely nailed the simplicity factor of like stripping out everything that I feel is a little bit bloated in 5e, that part did feel good. It's hard to totally judge a system just based on first level, but yeah, I think it is fast and easy. But at the same time, though, I will say they did some really interesting stuff with monster design. I was looking through the monster book, and at higher levels, it seems like the thing is the monsters have one interesting ability, which I like, because sometimes, you get a D&D stat block that has 5 or 6 abilities at higher levels. Realistically, you're not going to get to use all of them in a combat. And so then it's like, why? You're probably not going to run this monster a bunch of times in a row because your players want to fight something new. There's new terrain, whatever. So you're like never getting to use those other abilities. So it's kind of a waste almost. So it's like the design philosophy seemed like give them 1 or 2 really cool, unique abilities, and then, make a new monster. And so that part was interesting.
And it's also like, not just like, will I get to use all of this stuff, but like if you're running and you're like, okay, the combat is these 3 creatures and 2 of these creatures and, you know, 1 of these creatures or whatever. If you see one and it's like, it's got 6 abilities, as a DM, you're like, oh, fuck, I got to read this for a second. Like, hold on, guys.
Yeah.
Hold on, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and, you know, they also had minions, which you guys fought in the beginning. So having minion rules is great. Yeah. There's a lot of really, really good stuff. And it was just, again, so easy to come over from 5e that I would absolutely feel like this is definitely a system that I will regularly reach for. It would be the system that I reach for if someone had an impromptu game night and they just wanted to play TTRPGs. And I mean, also realistically, it's the system that I feel like we probably have time to play at this stage of our lives. You know, it's man, I don't know if other people face the same problems, but it's hard to play TTRPGs in your 30s. I don't know. It's like all of a sudden it's just like none of us even have kids and it's still hard, but it's just like, you know, work becomes more time consuming. There's just like, all of a sudden there's just all these things that you have to do, and scheduling a weekly game becomes really difficult.
To be fair, the most recent campaign we played, one of the players is now a parent.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But you're totally right. The thing for me is like, if people aren't familiar with like game mechanics for like role-playing games at all, I'm reaching for something simpler even than this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But if it's like someone who's like played video games or you know, like reads progression fiction or something like that, and they are like wanting to try tabletop, Nimble is like perfect.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's really representative of a big part of the TTRPG space without being super intimidating or hard for people to pick up. And so like, I think it's a specific recommendation for like a specific crowd of new players, but it's a huge crowd. And I think that it's like literally perfect for like that group of people.
I would also absolutely recommend this to anyone who plays 5e. Like, just give it a try, because there are so many people that play 5e and have so many gripes about it. So I think just try this and see which, even if you're not going to switch to it, there's just a lot of really great design in here that I really like, and you can take whatever you want out of it and port it back to 5e, because they're truly fully interchangeable. Like the initiative system with rolling for initiative to determine how many points you get on your first turn, which really offsets the fact that the players always go first and then the monsters go last. But it's not a balance issue because you're rarely getting all 3 action points on your first turn. And then the fact that having surprise is just giving advantage to the players on that initiative roll means surprise is so much more usable than it is in D&D, because often in 5e, well, it's different in 2024, but in 5e is like really careful about handing out surprise because it completely changes the whole dynamic of an encounter.
Yeah. How was it as a DM, like for the starter adventure? What was the module like for you? Was it extremely familiar in that way as well? Or like, what was the flow like and the layout like for the adventure?
Yeah, I mean, it was super small. The whole adventure is 1 page, which was awesome. And that includes the stat blocks, because the stat blocks take up like a teeny tiny portion in the bottom of the page. The whole adventure fit onto 1 page. The adventure itself is very, bare bones, very simple introductory adventure, but it gives you just a little, bunch of little scenarios, extremely, familiar coming from 5e. There's a little description in the beginning, and then the first encounter kind of area, and then, a couple of travel encounters as you guys go, and then the final fight there. And that was it.
Question for you. Taking off your I've been DMing for years, I have a YouTube channel about tabletop role-playing games hat. It being like a 1-page adventure, did they give enough information for someone like who's running for the first time to not have to do a lot of heavy lifting on like moving the narrative along?
Totally. And I think you could run this, I added characterization to some of the characters, but that's it. You could absolutely just run this reading the descriptions and go through with that. And they also even included rules references when it, at each of the things. So like below the first encounter, there's the minions rules reference and an attacking and moving rules reference. So yeah, no, there's little descriptions. I mean, I didn't add a ton to it. They really packed a lot in here. It's just very efficient.
Nice.
It's also very linear, obviously. There's not a lot of, it's a very simple linear adventure. You get attacked, you track them, see 2 travel encounters along the way, and then you find the camp at the end. There's not like, you guys don't have a lot of agency in here, but for an intro adventure for a system, I think that type of starter adventure is totally fine. And it's pretty common across a bunch of different TTRPGs. And the starter set is free on the Nimble website. So just download it. You get a rules reference, you get the adventure, you get a bunch of pre-made characters and their character sheets. So I mean, that's free. So definitely just go get that. The other thing I found the other day is that if you have Foundry, the Foundry Nimble module is free as well, like the full rules. So they say
cool.
It's designed for you to try Nimble, but I mean, they said use it, and if you like it, then maybe consider buying it. But the whole rules reference is free as a Foundry module.
Cool.
Do you know how much the game is if you buy it, like if you don't have Foundry?
I'm not sure how much it retails for. Oh, let me find out. They also just finished a Kickstarter, which I backed, for a monster book and a bunch of other new things.
Is that the one where they were trying to raise $50K and raised $1 million?
Absolutely, yeah.
Whoa,
they raised close to $1 million. I think they had 900,000 and change.
Over $1 million.
Not US.
Oh, I saw on the Nimble subreddit someone posted it being over $1 million.
Oh, great. Okay, because they said if they hit $1 million, they were gonna make it free, basically. Make Nimble free.
$1,092,611.
Oh.
Amazing. Yeah.
job,
So
Evan.
the $1 million stretch goal was that he wants to make an online searchable rules reference for free for anyone. So basically just like making the system free, essentially.
Wow.
Unlocked.
Very cool.
The Nimble Nomicon is what it's called.
Yeah, that's right. So all the Nimble digital PDFs together are 56 Canadian dollars for all 3 PDFs, which is $40 US. So 3 PDFs for $40. You get the Heroes book, the core rules, and the GM book. And so it's really not too much of an investment either way, but the starter set is free. So definitely don't buy it until you play it. I just try it and get the starter set for free and try it out and see how you like it.
Though consider the cool art that comes with the book if you do buy it.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of cool things in the Kickstarter as well, aside from just the Monsters and More Monsters book, but there is also, there's going to be some new rule sets, like dungeon turns and a bunch of new classes as well, I think. And they're designing a whole bunch of stuff. So they are really keen to expand it, which I think is really cool. And if they take the same kind of really clever but minimal game design into all these other areas, I think it's going to be a really cool system.
And pretty sizable community, it seems like.
Yeah, no, people I think are really, I mean, yeah, breaking $1 million on their first subsequent Kickstarter is absolutely massive. So yeah, no, it's clearly resonating with people, which is awesome. And I just found it extremely easy to run and play. And I would like to play it more for sure, to really see where the depth is, play some higher levels, play a variety of different monsters. But I think the biggest thing for me was that it was just so easy to run that I wasn't getting caught up on worrying about all of the mechanics. I was able to just kind of have fun running and pretty carefree. And I knew that the monsters my stat blocks were there, and I knew what was going on. And so yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm reserving my judgment to see how it'll be at higher levels and if it'll feel tactically satisfying enough. but potentially playing on a grid, will help that as well.
I'd be interested in doing like 2 more one-shots, like a level 5 and a level 10.
Yeah, that'd be cool. All right, well, we'll see about that.
I'll run the level 5 one and Loren will run the level 10 one.
Perfect.
I have to run the high level one?
Yep.
Says who?
You're the tallest one here. You got to run the biggest one-shot.
Ugh, fine. Daddy will take care of you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Daddy.
Thank you, Daddy. Did you guys have any other thoughts about Nimble before we wrap up these first impressions?
I think just like any other TTRPG, Nimble is going to be most fun if you play it with people you're going to enjoy playing games with. But Nimble is absolutely a great way to introduce your friends, but also worthwhile if you've been playing TTRPGs for a while. Overall, just like my role indicated at the beginning of the episode, I'm giving Nimble an A.
Ooh, okay, grade system. I also give Nimble an A. I really liked it. As someone who isn't into like super crunchy combat or like tactical, strategy and that sort of thing, I think this is like absolutely the system for me. I was saying this to Kelly before we played it. I don't know why I had this impression just based off of the name and the cover art on the book that it was like a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of scenario where you're like a little guy in like a big world, where it was like, oh yeah, you're just like navigating this like giant world and you have like a button as a shield. Absolutely not the case. I don't know why I thought that.
Interesting.
But I do think it's,
you want to play in that world.
I do think it's funny that we ended up playing like little guys.
Could use this system.
Regardless, not that little, but it did have like a cute kind of feel because of that preconceived notion. I feel like. Not necessarily the case. You could play it however you want, but I really liked the vibe of this game.
You could be giants with LOL stuff.
That's true.
You know what? This system is so flexible. You could be little guys with big things. You could be big guys with little things. You could do whatever you want.
You could be regular guys with regular things.
Just a couple of regular guys with regular things.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny that we both played little beast folk. I feel like we were really trying to get Kelly to run like a Redwall world. And then he just like didn't.
Well, I wasn't intending to. I didn't go in thinking like, oh, I really want to play a rat folk. I was going to play a fiendkin because I was basing my character, actually name as well, unintentionally off of Damien from Monster Prom.
Monster Prom, yeah.
Kind of a shithead devil guy, but then you were like, oh, I'm gonna play a bun, and I was like, oh wait, that's really cute. Okay, I'll play a rat. I'll play a little rat.
If you guys wanted to play in Redwall, you shouldn't have made 2 sad teens.
And then we didn't play them very sad at all.
No, we didn't. They evolve. They're teens.
Yeah,
as teens are wont to do. It's their prerogative.
Yeah, after 2 weeks on the road, they evolved.
I did find a really cool magical item in the core rules called the Weapon of Many Hands. I just think that's really funny. So I would love to see that come up at some point if we play again.
Nice.
Powerful magic item. Many hands make light work.
Well, a weapon that grants 1 extra hand is likely to be uncommon, but 4 hands is legendary. So an uncommon item. We could come up with one of those.
Yeah, maybe. Well, we'll have to play more then. Well, I really did enjoy it, and it was the easiest TTRPG we've picked up coming from 5e. And I know for sure I will be running more, and I'm looking forward to playing more with you guys, seeing how it's like what it's like at higher levels, and exploring some of the new monster book when that comes out and the new rules and stuff. And I think it's filled with a ton of reading through the book. I just again and again just kept coming across sections where I just thought, that's really clever. That is just really clever design. It really feels like Evan went, and he did play D&D for a long time and 5e for a long time, and just went through and made the system that he would want to play instead of 5e. And he's come up with some really creative solutions, I think, for all the little problems that I faced when I was running 5e. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this some more and seeing how deep it goes, what the depth is like.
Gotta find out.
Well, thank you all so much. That'll do it for us this week. Thank you for listening, and let us know in the comments if you are going to check out Nimble. I know that whenever I make a video on YouTube about a new system, I get so many comments of people being like, ugh, I don't want to try a new system. This looks cool, but I don't want to have to learn a new system. I don't have to read a new book.
It's worth it.
Well, for one, you don't have to. If you love the system you're playing, just play that system. But if you're interested to try more systems, this one is certainly an easy one to pick up. It's very easy to just transition into. You'll feel like there's almost no translation. So just download the starter set and have a read and see what you want to bring into your games. We will be back next week with some more show and tell and 2DM's one player. We hope you have a great week, whatever you're doing, on your way to work, doing the dishes, letting us serenade you to sleep, whatever it is. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll be coming back to your ear holes in 7 days. We appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Is that a Sound of Music reference?
I don't know. He said serenading you to sleep.